Hey friends, welcome to Candy's Best Life Over 50. Hey, it's officially campground review time. So this video might go on a little bit. It's going to be several clips that I'm going to put together because I have a lot to say. We've been here for we're leaving on Saturday. So this should post on Saturday, February 1st. We've been at this campground for over 2 months. So I'm here definitely long enough to figure out how things roll and meet a lot of the staff that works here and make a really good assessment of the campground. So the name of it is Northlake RV Village. It's in Northlake, Texas. Northlake, Texas. And it is northeast of Dallas. We're pretty close to the Oklahoma border. So as you can imagine, we did get a ton of snow with that big storm that came through. And one thing I have figured out being here is North Texas has all the seasons, which I just assumed it was going to be warmer here. And I think typically it is. But this year it's been kind of unseasonably cold for a lot of southern states. So I feel like it was just not the best time to be here. But the campground itself, it gets a thumbs up. Rating wise, I'll give that towards the end. So as you can tell, I've moved locations. Like I said earlier in this video, it was going to take me a while to do a complete review of this campground because we've been here for quite a while and I want to make sure not to miss anything. So first, top of mind, I want to go over the amenities that they have here. One thing I really appreciate at a campsite is having mail service. You don't even know how convenient that is. If you don't know much about full-time RVing, you have to have a mail service somewhere. Like you're in your RV, you're not permanently anywhere, so you don't have an address. So we basically have a domicile residency set up in a state, and in that state, we have a mailing address. So when we have regular mail, just regular everyday mail, it goes to that address. And then the company that we pay for the service for, they send us emails telling us when we get mail or packages, and they'll scan it for us so we can see what it is. If it's garbage, we can have them shred it. If it's something that we need or it's packages that we had mailed there, we can move the email from like the inbox to the send folder. And then when we're ready, when we have enough stuff to justify a shipment, right, we have them mail it to wherever we're at. And we're able to do that here. And we also, the location of this campground is very industrial. We are behind so many warehouses, and there's an Amazon warehouse right up the street. So we can have Amazon delivered right here, not have to have it go to Florida. That's where our domicile state is. And then have Florida send it to us. We can have it mailed right here. So that's really something that we look for when we're making reservations. We like to be able to get mail. You may or may not know, I have to have medicine mailed to me every month. My husband has medications that he has to have, so we have to be able to get mail, right? And so that's part of our criteria that we have when we're picking a place, is whether or not we can get mail and packages. So they do have a really nice setup here for that. They have a mail room and they sort it all by the first initial of your last name, and you just go in there, pick it up during office hours. It's just, it's a really nice feature. The staff that I've met two of the, like, I don't know what they do. They do like maintenance outside. We've had a guy come and work on our power. I've met him. We have another guy. They do like certain stuff, like to every site when people leave, you know, they come and clean it up and make sure everything is pristine before the next tenant comes in. You know, I've met two of those people. I'm not sure how many are employed here, but I have met two very nice people. Very nice. I've met 3 different people that work up in the office. The park manager, Sherry, if you're watching this, hi. But very, very nice people, just super, super nice people. So another amenity that they have is they have a gym, which I really appreciate, even though I've only used it a couple times in 2 months. That doesn't say much about my motivation this year, does it? I'm still down 33 pounds, so hey. But I have not used the gym more than a handful of times. So, but they have like a treadmill and a stationary bike, and I don't know what you call it, but it's like a big machine and you can lift and do all different kinds of things with it. And then they have a weight bench with some loose barbells. So that's just really nice to have. If it's inclement weather and you can't get outside and do your walk, you can go up there and do it on the treadmill. So I really don't have any excuses, y'all, other than lack of motivation to not be up there at least 3 or 4 times a week. But it's nice, and they have a TV in there, so if you like to work out to like YouTube videos or whatever, you can watch the television while you're doing stuff. They have a fan in there to keep air circulation going. That's just, it's a nice little gym. And then right next to that is a laundry facility. And there, I believe I've only used it once, and that's because I bought a new comforter since I've been here. It's a little bit heavier because it got so cold. And it's too big to wash in my washer. I mean, I could probably wash it, but I don't know how long it would take for it to dry in my dryer. So the fact that the wash machine is up there and I can just go up there and do it and get it dry very fast, you know. So that's the only time I've used it. I generally can wash just about everything else I have in my own wash machine. So the laundry facility is really nice and clean, which is important when you're washing your clothes. They have had one washer down every time I've been in there, which I didn't only go in there for the one time I washed my new comforter in there, but I've been in there with my sister when she's been doing laundry. So, I mean, I feel like if only having 4 washers, I feel like there's over 100 full-time people that live in this campground, and I feel like they should probably have maybe another laundry facility, maybe in another part of the park, because those washers are going nonstop. So I had to kind of pick my battles and figure out time of day to be there just to get my one load done, you know? So I feel like that's one improvement that they could make, is to add possibly another laundry facility in another part of the park. I don't know though. I don't know what that costs. Maybe it's very pricey. But that would be a recommendation for me. And then they have a bathhouse, which is right next to the pool. Neither one of those have I been in. The pool has been running ever since we've been here, but the gate hasn't been open to go in. And we've only had probably 2 days in the 80s since we've been here. So the weather just hasn't been nice enough to go hang out at the pool. And the bathhouse I think it's got showers in it and stuff. So if you if you're in a rig that you don't have a shower or whatever, you do have that capability here. So that's nice to know. But like I said, I've never been in it. It looks really nice from the outside. And I have met the gal who cleans all of that stuff. She's a full-timer here, and I can just tell by seeing, you know, how clean those things are that she takes that job seriously. So hi, Ellen. She does a great job. So other than that, they do have within the park in different spots. One of them just so happens to be right behind our rig. It's a community fire pit. It's a huge propane fire pit. We haven't used it. I'm guessing you take your own propane tank there, but honestly, it's been too cold at night to have fires. We've been over at my sister's maybe 3 or 4 times for fires, and other than that, it's been too cold at night to have a fire. So we could have probably figured that out. I could have asked the park manager how that all works, but we just haven't had great weather since we've been here. So, but it's really nice. It's a big pergola and there's tons of seating, and I think it's the newest of the two that they have. They also have a community garden area, which obviously with the season that I'm here, we didn't get to partake in any of that. But my sister has planted vegetables up there. And, you know, depending on how many people want to participate, depends on how many boxes within this garden area that you can plant in. So, you know, it just depends on participation, I guess. But I know my sister participated last year and she would love to do it again this year. So that's kind of nice for fresh produce. But other than that, those I think wrap up the amenity. No, I forgot one. I forgot one. And this one's kind of important. They have a garbage service here, which not only do they pick your trash up from your site once a week, but they also provide you these huge trash cans. It's like the kind that you get from your waste disposal at home. They're great big trash cans. And we haven't even gotten our outdoor camper trash can out since we've been here, because we just take our garbage to this big trash can and they pick it up. The day changed during the week. I don't remember what it used to be, but now it's Mondays. So you just take your little thing out to the street. It's not little, it's big. Your big trash can out to the street. The garbage service comes and empties it, and then you put it back and you use it for the week. And I don't think there's been a week that it's been full. So it's really big trash can. So that's a really nice feature that I appreciate. Another thing, well, I guess I should talk about sites now. I guess that'll be my next thing. So my next topic is going to be the sites. I think they have multiple sites that you can choose from as far as the size of it. So I believe we're in a deluxe site. We have a pretty good sized yard. It's a really fine gravel that we park on. We were able to level our camper pretty easily, so I appreciated that. It's really long. We can fit our vehicle behind it, but on this site, we also have a big concrete pad that you can park 2 vehicles on. So, and this concrete pad connects to a sidewalk that comes up the side of the camper and goes to our concrete patio. So they're really nice sites. I mean, really nice and big. I know that our site was more expensive than the smaller sites, but as I've stated on here before, I don't like to quote prices of sites because I don't know what the daily rate is, first of all. Most importantly, the rates are subject to change at any time, so I don't want to give misinformation. And I don't know what the site difference, the price for the smaller sites is to ours. So I will tell you that this campground's pretty pricey to stay at. So I think if you stay here a certain amount of time, and I don't know what that is, but you could probably go to their website and get that, you are responsible for your electric bill. So what is included in our site rental, being here long term, because we've been here for 2 months now, is water and sewer. And then we have to pay our electric bill on top of our site rental, which is pretty high for a campsite. So, but like I said, those prices are subject to change, and it all depends on the location where you're at, right? It from state to state, the prices of campgrounds are going to vary. When we leave here, the next state that we go to, the campsite fee is being knocked in half, and it includes our power. But we're going to another state. So I think that this area is just expensive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to justify expensive price campsites because I feel like they all are a little overpriced, honestly. But I do think this place is expensive. But I don't have any complaints about it. So we've paid a lot of money at places that I've absolutely hated and had nothing good to say about. And this is definitely not that situation at all. I've really enjoyed my time here, other than the weather, and the campground has no control over that. So there's a couple pet peeves that I do have, and I do want to tell you about those. Now, my pet peeves about this place are no reflection of the campground. It's just about the location. So we are right off of Interstate 35, behind a lot of warehouses. So there's a lot of traffic, interstate traffic, that at certain times of the day and night you can hear it. You guys, you have that in a lot of campgrounds because most campgrounds are right off the interstate. So that's just kind of part of it. But the other pet peeve I have is right up the road, like right before the entrance to the campground, is a shooting range. So as you can imagine, it is open 5 out of 7 days a week. And it's just constant gunshots going off, constant. But again, that's not the campground's fault, because you know what I'm saying? The location of the shooting range just happens to be next door. So that's not a reflection on the campground. If you are a gun enthusiast, I will tell you that Texas is the place to come, because they have gun shows like every weekend. And if you like to buy guns, this would be a great campground for you to stay at, because you can just go right up there and shoot your gun. So if you're a gun enthusiast, you might absolutely love this place, because it's literally, you go walk to the gun range from here. So like I said, my two pet peeves, it's just a personal thing for me, but that's not a reflection on the campground. That's just things that bother me since I've been here. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so we did have a power problem. When we pulled in, our 50 amp circuit didn't work, but we hooked into the 30. It wasn't hot enough for us to need all 3 air conditioners, so it wasn't a big deal. And I believe the next day, one of their maintenance guys came and swapped it out, and we were back in business. So within 24 hours, our problem was resolved. We have had a couple of power outages since we've been here. They were like, the power would go off and then it would come back on. I do know some of my neighbors had the same issue, so it wasn't just us and our pole. I think it was just a quirk thing, you know what I'm saying? And that can happen at any moment. Like, honestly, it can happen in your house. So that's also not a negative reaction or reflection on the campground. It's just things that happen. But you know, other than that, our site is really nice and big. We haven't spent a lot of time outside because of the weather, but we have a rainy day today. It's pretty much rain all day and all night, but we're going to be like 70 or in the low 70s on Saturday when we leave. So of course it's going to start warming up and we're leaving, but where we're going, we have warmer temps. So that is something to really look forward to. So anyway, I would say, you know how I usually rate campgrounds 1 out of 10, from 1 to 10. I have given a campground a 1 before, and I don't feel bad about it, because this is my rating and this is how I feel about the place. And obviously when we book a campground, we look at the reviews, because we really take them into consideration when we're booking a place. We want it to be rated well, and we want positive reviews, because of why else will we go there, especially if you're going for an extended period of time. So I think that everybody's interpretation of something is maybe a little bit different, and I feel like all perspectives kind of give you an overall opinion of the place. So I didn't feel bad about giving that other campground in Alabama a 1, because I really didn't care for anything about that campground. This one is not getting a 1. This one, I would give them a 9 out of 10. And I think I would go 10 if it wasn't for the price, because they're very, very accommodating and people here are just really nice. But because it's pricey, I can't give them a 10 out of 10, because for me, my rating is encompasses everything. So I would say 9 out of 10. And if price is not even a concern for you, I would come here, definitely. Now, here's what I have heard about this location. The best time to hang out in this part of Texas is not July and August, okay? Because it's hot here. So, if you are coming to Texas for warmth and you don't mind 115 degrees, then by all means you can come here through the summer. But from what I've heard from people who've been here for a long time, our July and August are just the worst, hottest months. So I think probably the best time to come here, if you just want like temperatures, is probably going to be April, May, June, and September, October, and maybe early November, because we got here close to the end of November, and the day we got here, it was really warm, but that disappeared like days later. So we just haven't had a lot of nice temps. However, I don't think that's typical for here. I think typically here they have a couple weeks of cold, below freezing cold, and that's it. So, but this year it's been like 2 months of it. So I think it's just been off everywhere in the US, you know? So again, I don't think these cool temperatures is typical for northeastern Texas. But anyway, that's my completed review. I hope you guys have learned something. I hope I've given you some information that maybe will help you make a decision about where you're going to stay if you're going to visit Texas or this part of Texas. I will tell you that there is a Tanger outlet mall right down the road. There is, we did go to Fort Worth and do the Bighorn thing. Have you heard about this? Oh my gosh. They let bighorns run through the street. It is the coolest thing ever. It's a very touristy thing, so it's a-hole to elbow people, but they have shopping and just all got lots of good food and stuff like that, but they let the bulls run through the street. It's just a really cool experience. So if you are near the Fort Worth area, I definitely recommend going and doing that. I think that they do it about every day of the week. There might be a couple runs on some days. And I'm trying to remember what it's called. Stockyards. The Stockyards. So if you are ever in the Fort Worth area and you haven't seen the Stockyards, I highly recommend it. It is something that we really enjoyed, and we had great weather. The day that we went, it was like 65, 70 degrees. You know, I didn't have to wear a coat. You know, I just had a sweater on. It was a really nice day that day. It's just too bad we didn't have more days like that, but at least we had a few, enough to go do some cool things. We also went to an indoor concert that was, well, it wasn't really indoors. The actual venue where the band played was outside, and it was so cool. So that was I believe that was in the Fort Worth area as well. So anyway, I do recommend this place. I really do. I just want you to be prepared for the price, but I'm not going to tell you what the price is because it could change. And I don't know what all the prices are. I only know what our site costs, and there are smaller sites that are less expensive. So you could just call. It's Northlake RV Park in Northlake, Texas. You could call them and get the prices for when you're going to be here, because you know, the prices could change between now and then. So anyway, that's all I got. I hope you guys, like I said, have gotten some information from this. It has been a minute since I've reviewed a campground because we've been here for so long. But, you know, anyway, I hope it was beneficial. And as always, Much love from Candy's Best Life Over 50.